because of those environmental storms raging.
The idyllic beach town of Capitola has attracted tourists since its inception, starting as a busy shipping point known as Sokol Landing. After the iconic wharf was constructed in 1857, travelers enjoyed camping on the seashore, leading Capitola to become the first campsite on the West Coast. Businesses were attracted to the town, and Capitola continued to grow and develop into a thriving community. But there was one issue. Capitola Village is situated on sea level, unprotected from the raging waves of the Pacific. Throughout the past 160 years, Capitola has endured 19 recorded floods, causing millions of dollars in damage. Recently, Capitola was battered by a bomb cyclone storm in January of 2023. This storm caused at least $3.5 million in damages, but the true extent of the damage is measured in the impact that it had on the community.
My name is Joshua Whitby. I am the kitchen manager / co-owner. January 5th, 2023, kind of knew a storm was coming ahead of time. I came down early morning on about 7, and the waves had already started hitting, but over the next about an hour and a half, 2 hours, the waves got bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit more debris into the water, and kind of just wreaked a little bit of havoc and tore through everything.
The waves came in here, so our floor got completely lifted. It took 8 months for us to reopen. We had to get a whole new walk-in, so like the fridge in the back, new floors, new walls.
We were down for just about 3.5 months. There was despair, anger, frustration, many years, and a lot of people's livelihoods toast.
Luckily, like me, I had a second job that I was able to pick up extra shifts. And if it wasn't for that, I'd probably have lost my home.
My name's Deborah Osterberg, and I'm the museum curator for the Capitola Historical Museum. There was a lot of damage, especially to the businesses, and they're mostly restaurants right along the Esplanade. They're the ones closest to the beach. They were quite severely hit in that storm last year. But it's been a long series of stories each winter. There's always some kind of flooding here. So that has been a pattern, unfortunately, that has continued, and it's probably going to get worse as time goes on with the problems with climate change and sea rise.
Primarily, the downtown area was built on the beach and built on the floodplain of Soquel Creek. People have wanted to get closer and closer to the water, closer and closer to the edge, so we've built houses and businesses literally on the beach. So the high tide bring the water close, and the waves impact the structures there.
Depending on your insurance coverage, you could lose a lot from the impacts of those waves and storms.
We all got dropped. Our insurance dropped us all. I mean, you pay into it for 40 years and they pay out way less than what you pay into it, and they still drop you afterwards because you're a liability now.
It's just a bad location to build out on the beach. And the way climate change is going, with rising sea levels, it looks like we're getting larger waves. So if anything, the damages are probably gonna happen more frequently in the future. In the long run, depending what we call the long run, there's absolutely nothing we can do to hold back the Pacific Ocean.
Climate change will continue. There's no reason to believe it's not going to continue. At what point do we start doing something different? Do we start moving back, relocating, building some kind of protection? But as lovely of a community that is, the village, and how much people like to go there, the long-term prognosis is not positive.
It's always going to be a worry down here. I mean, we're in erodes and we're losing more and more of the cliff each year that it keeps hitting hard. We're going to lose bits of Capitola to the ocean before too long.
If I was looking to open a restaurant or buy a restaurant or something on the Esplanade, I would say, this is not where I want to be. The bluffs are eroding also. So again, this history of climate change tells us what's been happening and should give us some caution. Saying, this is not a good place to build.
There's 2 words that have been used to describe what we need to do that nobody's excited about. It's called manage retreat. We start moving things back that are the most vulnerable. But people that live on the beach, those restaurants, they don't want to move back.
The location of where we are, it's our blessing and our curse. Like this close to the beach, everybody wants to be here, but this close to the beach, we get the wrath of the beach. The benefits so far have outweighed the negatives. Hopefully it stays that way.
But the benefits won't last very long. A report found that California could lose up to 75% of its beaches by the year 2100 due to sea level rise and erosion. This issue isn't going away, and it needs to be faced head-on or risk Capitola being washed away entirely.